Stand by to receive our transmission.
Where are you boys from in the world?
Alabama, sir.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Welcome to the Bama Geeks podcast. We are four friends diving into our favorite pop culture topics with a dash of Southern charm.
We have the tools, we have talent. It's Miller time.
Whoa, this is heavy.
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds.
Wait, what? Crazy? You didn't say I was crazy.
You got the wrong guy. I'm the dude, man.
You want something done, you've got to do it yourself.
Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes!
So grab your biscuits and gravy, a glass of sweet tea, and enjoy the nerdy hospitality of Brock and Jessica Parker, Bo Bearden, and Kevin Gardner.
This is the way.
This is the way.
And welcome into our third episode of the Bama Geeks podcast. I'm Brock Parker. Hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, my cohorts for this evening, and always my lovely, lovely friends and family.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello again.
Greetings.
Of course, Jessica, Bo, and Kevin. We geeky four Southerners. So we got a few
the sci-fi.
We got a few things we're going to talk about on this episode. We're going to, after 14 months, there was a convention in Alabama, and Jess and I went to it in Huntsville. We'll talk about the few hours that we stayed there. Ghostbusters Afterlife, the day we released our second episode, they decided to release a brand new trailer full of little fun marshmallow Stay Puffs on Walmart shelves with Paul Rudd. So, hey, we're 2 weeks behind, and we're going to talk about it and what we can possibly look forward to with Afterlife. And, of course, the segment for Bo and Jess, the athletic theater, Wrasslin for the rest of us.
Wrasslin.
Layeth the smacketh down.
And, of course, Bo has still not watched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so we're going to dive into spoiler territory despite that.
We'll have to turn it into when will I watch.
So, but yeah, 2 weeks ago, as of this recording, the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo happened naturally in Huntsville, Alabama. And that was the first time that Jess and I had gone to a convention since February of 2020, when we went to Days of the Dead in Atlanta and got to meet Kathleen Turner and Richard Dreyfus and a few more people. And we had an absolute wonderful time. Man, I tell you, we threw the masks on and we saw some of our friends from that area, and we got to buy stuff from dealers. Mind you, art dealers, not anything illicit. So we got to look at toys. Didn't buy any toys. We bought some art, and we got to meet Emily Swallow, who plays the armorer on The Mandalorian. When you hear that little voice at the beginning of this podcast before we all pop on here that says, "This is the way," that's Emily. And we got to meet her. Jess, what do you think about the con?
I was so excited to be back in that environment. It was nice to start feeling that sense of, hopefully, of things getting back to normal. It was just a great feeling to be back amongst that.
Yeah, it was. And, you know, with me having gone to conventions since 1993, that was my first one. I was kind of getting burned out on cons. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm almost now at 28 years of doing conventions, and it was nice to take a break. I'm not going to lie. In 2020, it was nice to sit back and relax. Even though I missed seeing everybody, it was nice not to have to go spend so much money at a convention. And, you know, we didn't dress up or anything for the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo, but man, it felt so good getting back into a crowd, and a crowd that was appropriately masked. I felt completely safe at the con, completely safe. I know quite a few people did the professional photo shoots with some of the actors and the artists that were there. And they had a wall of clear plexiglass in between you and the and the celebrity, but you can't really see them in the picture. So that was really nice. It looks like you're right there with no separation.
Mm-hmm.
But we did have a couple of people look at our pictures of us with Emily Swallow and saw the three of us without masks. I haven't heard anything negative. They were like, oh, wow, you got to actually stand with her and be without your mask.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Emily is fully vaccinated, and we all had our masks on when we were going up to meet her. And, and she walked up with her mask on, and she was very quick to say, hey, I am fully vaccinated. I will take my mask off if you guys are comfortable with that. And we said, are you comfortable with us? She's like, yeah, totally fine. So for that one picture, we quickly took our masks off. We smiled for the camera. We had the picture taken. We quickly put our mask back on.
Right.
So it was a very quick ordeal. And one, I was very glad that she was okay with and that she's vaccinated. And, we're completely safe. Jess and I were totally fine. And that was nice that we actually got to do a picture without those things on. But Emily was as sweet as she could be. She was extremely nice.
Yeah, very gracious guest to meet and interact with. Brock got his Black Series armor figure signed.
The limited edition one, not the regular one you could find in stores, but the one that was on Hasbro Pulse for a very quick time because those things went quickly and I was able to get one.
We also had a chance to meet Disney artist James Mulligan.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure of meeting him. Had some beautiful prints there for sale. Also had some of his original sketches there to look at. We ended up coming away with quite a few prints from him. That was really the bulk of our purchases there had to do with prints and Disney art and things like that. No surprise.
Yeah, he did some really nice prints of Jessica Rabbit. He had one that looked like the Sideshow premium format figure that I've got. And I was like, man, that looks a lot like the statue. He's like, yeah, I helped design it. And I'm like, oh. So I got the print from him and he signed it. And
he also had said he also worked on Frozen, the first Frozen movie.
Mm-hmm.
He said he loved drawing Anna. That was his favorite character of all that he was involved with and loved how to draw her. And we shared with him, why we love Anna so much and showed him our costuming. And he was very, very amazed at our costumes and how well that Brock and I do that costume together. Very sweet guy. Actually, I bought the last print that he had on hand of Anna and Olaf.
We also got a metallic print. This guy had printed on, he had done some artwork of Ariel on a metal plate, and it was really, really pretty and really, really pops in the lights. First time I've ever had a metallic print, so that was really neat to get.
But I feel like I came away with the best print of all, the basic white Grogu. That if I didn't, Brock told me he was going to be sorely disappointed if I did not walk away with that print.
Isn't that he's wearing Mickey ears and drinking Starbucks?
Yes.
Yep.
And the Starbucks drink that he's holding looks exactly like the caramel frappuccino that I get. You can see like the little brown and the white, everything. I said that.
Probably for Grogu is a Frogachino, maybe.
Oh, Frogachino.
Yeah.
Nice. But I like to refer to it, like I said, as my basic white Grogu.
And if we haven't shared that photo on our social media, which is a great time to mention that you can follow us at Bama Geeks on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we will share that photo if we have not already. I know we shared a couple of pictures.
I think we put the ones of us with Emily on there. Yeah. I believe you did that. Yes.
Yeah. So go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, follow at Bama Geeks, and we'll show you the basic white Grogu.
It deserves to be seen.
It does. And Grogu is as cute as he is. He's been replaced. I'm sorry. He's been replaced by Minnie Stay Puffed.
Oh, those are so adorable.
At least for the time being.
Right.
Yes.
It's the next thing.
Yeah, there'll be something cuter. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know necessarily about replaced, considering it was just a very short trailer, but there's a really good chance that, if those guys do make it into the movie, that's going to be a huge deal.
I don't know if that's what we're about to discuss will be in the movie, but I think the puffs are part of it, which a lot of people, before we get going good, a lot of people want to say they're trying to cash in on the Grogu popular craze. but Afterlife and everything was finished filming before The Mandalorian premiered. So
this is true.
Yes, but at the same time, they've had plenty of time to up marketing,
refine it,
and do more special effects.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
either side.
And the reason we have the mini Stay Puft right now is because they needed to get the cereal out, the new Ghostbusters cereal. I mean, that had a shelf life, and it was starting to get a little long in the tooth. And, being pushed back with COVID, and the cereal had already been produced and stuff like that. So mini Stay Puft is on the box of cereal that's on store shelves currently. And so it's like, people be like, what are these? So they needed to go ahead and reveal it because the shelf life of the cereal and the boxes were already out there. And
correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there there's marshmallows that are going to be hit?
Yes.
There's Stay Puft marshmallows that's going to be, right.
Is it Jet Puff who's making them for him? Or I could be wrong.
I don't eat
or
marshmallows.
Campfire. I think it's Campfire brand.
Yeah, I don't eat marshmallows, so I don't know the brands.
But anyway, I would say before we get into it, like I said, if anyone hasn't seen it, which do yourself a favor and look it up. But it's a very, I don't know, technically, I don't think it's a scene in the movie. I think it's more like a promotional thing because I don't know, it's very weird because from watching older movies versus newer movies, a lot of things now with, I guess, high definition and all that stuff, everything looks too real. So it looks like it filmed for a commercial or they filmed it at an actual store. So I don't know. That just might be my old, grumpy old man.
That was my confusion, I guess, in the beginning, seeing it. Is this supposed to be a commercial? Is this a promotional thing? Or is this in the movie? How is this working itself into the movie? How all of a sudden do we get these little mini Stay Puffs popping up?
Yeah, and then they ripped out the score and like the full on crescendo of the score and everything.
Yeah.
When Stay Puft pops out of the actual the package, it's like, oh my gosh, this feels like it's real.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like with all of it, Alex, if you haven't seen it, basically Paul Rudd, it looks like he's shopping, I'm assuming, at Walmart because Walmart has a good tie-in or whatever they're doing.
Oh, it's absolutely a Walmart.
Yeah, it's a Walmart, which I appreciate. In the commercial, they do a dig at his
Baskin Robbins.
Baskin Robbins. He's forever cursed to be dealing with Baskin Robbins, apparently. Like I said, he turns that, and then he turns the aisle, hears a sound, and then there's a miniature Stay Puft Marshmallow Man breaking out of the bag, and then ensues into multiple little Stay Puft Men causing chaos. From things of tearing things up to actually setting each other on fire on a grill. So, I mean, it's kind of like, this is cute.
And delighting in setting each other on fire.
Oh,
They're having fun with it.
And one of them totally getting off on becoming a s'more.
Yeah.
Right.
That was amazing.
That's my favorite one.
Look, I can't blame the guy. I mean, if somebody were to melt a whole bunch of chocolate on me, it might burn, but man, it's going to taste so good.
The
smell will be incredible.
Right?
Well, especially if you're a marshmallow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love s'mores. I've always been a huge connoisseur of s'mores, and I love making s'mores. So just them making the little mini Stay Puft into one was just perfect for me.
Say it's just awesome though, the initial reaction. Like, so here we are, we're 2 weeks out from the original when it was posted for everybody to see, but like the initial reaction was awesome. Like, especially because like it's been pushed back with the movie pushed back, kind of Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's got, it's coming, we'll see it. But then it was a nice shot in the arm. The interest that everybody had in it needed to be revived.
The fan base lit up. We just ignited in excitement.
Did we know this was coming though? Did they?
No.
So they just dropped this out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
And believe me, we would have waited on the release of the podcast because it hit. We started doing the social media push like at 8:00 in the morning Central Time for the podcast. Yeah. Sometime, and then like 10 minutes after we said, "Hey, the new Bama Geeks episode is out." All of a sudden, there goes Ghostbusters. And I'm like, really? Really? If we would have had, of course, but then it wouldn't have been a fun surprise marketing move.
Right.
Well, if you saw the news, or at least I think it was yesterday, it was reported that they're going to do it. Hallmark's doing a keepsake ornament of the mini Marshmallow Man.
Yep. Mini Stay Puft on your tree.
Well, that's a definite purchase for this year.
Yeah. May have to take a small loan and just cover the whole tree with mini Marshmallow Men.
But
I would be completely okay with it.
Or you can just buy the case of the mini Stay Puffs. That is a Hasbro releasing this the case, or is it's another company releasing a you have these mini blind things like Funko does. From time to time, the little blind bag, and they all come in a little. Oh, what's the packaging look like?
It looks like just a container.
Yeah,
just like a white container with the Stay Puft label on it.
Yeah.
Little miniature cans or like plastic lids. Basically, to me, it looks like the old ectoplasm containers.
Yeah.
Right. With the Stay Puft label on the
Yeah, but they look
front.
like marshmallow containers. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good variety of, mystery minis, Stay Puffs. So you can buy a whole case of those and just put ornament hooks on them and, put them all over your tree.
Yeah.
A lot of these 3D printing groups that I'm a part of, a lot of people have been creating little Stay Puffs that you can print out. So whenever I do get my 3D resin printer up and running, which I've had since last summer and don't have any space in the house to put it, so I haven't even turned it on yet. It's still sitting in the box. What a incredible investment I made. But at least I'll have it when it's ready, I guess.
That's right.
But yeah, we'll be printing out all kinds of little mini Stay Puffs.
I definitely want one for, like I said, to put on my shoulder or stand on my pack when I'm wearing my costume. So,
Yeah.
The little one that's melted might be good, one to stick on the top there. I think that would look really cute.
That would be awesome.
Well, it's already kind of halfway melted.
Maybe we can figure something to Alabama accentuated. I'm trying to think how we could do one. A Marshmallow Man Alabama centric. I guess Marshmallow Man holding a football or...
Put a houndstooth hat on him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping. We've been looking. We've been on the search for the cereal. Have not had any luck in finding the cereal yet. So
if you're in our listening radius area, send it in.
Yeah, tell us where if you have found the cereal in the Birmingham area. I'd like to know which grocery chain is carrying it, because so far Publix, Piggly Wiggly, we've looked at all the ones around here. We haven't, and I've told Brock that the ones that I've seen posted looks like they're coming from Kroger, and unfortunately we don't have any Krogers in the Birmingham area.
Come on, Birmingham. We need Kroger.
Get with the times. Get with a Kroger.
But you would figure if there is some sort of beloved Walmart tie-in to this movie, as we're seeing, at least from the little trailer that dropped, you would think Walmart, but then again, it's Walmart.
I was going to say, wait a minute. Here we go again. Distribution.
Let's not get into that.
Distribution.
We've already done the Walmart
and
hate.
Walmart.
This has been your third episode in a row with Walmart hate.
Get your Walmart sock in bulk from us.
We will provide free of charge.
Premium molding.
This just, it was so, to me, just to see, like, as Ghostbusters fans, the running gag is that we're used to disappointment. We're used to not getting what we want. And to see this come about and the excitement, my timeline on social media was just nothing but Stay Puffs, and I was loving it. It was bringing me such joy throughout the day.
Just think, guys, if this is what we get from a promo, what's the movie going to be like?
Look, let me, as much, I'm going to be totally honest here. I know everybody is anticipating that second trailer. I have my doubts whether I want to watch another trailer. And I say that because I want to go into this movie as green as possible. I want to see this for the first time on that movie screen. I'm craving this experience like nobody's business. And I get the movie. I kind of get the premise. I see where we're going with this. I'm really hesitant. I don't know if I want to watch that second trailer because I don't want to see too much.
Well, yeah. I mean, Gozer's going to come out as Macho Man Randy Savage this time.
One could only hope.
Yeah.
I think my biggest concern on another trailer is I hope the studio, because I know there's some marketing executive studios goes, we've got to get a trailer with all the living Ghostbusters in it so these people will know it. And I'm like, no, I want to wait to see them in the movie.
Right.
I want that reveal to be something special.
When we first got the trailer for MIB International, it was so exciting. Oh, I want to see this trailer. I want to see this movie. I'm so hyped up. But it seems to me that all the good things were put in the trailer. And when we finally watched it, it was so lackluster for me. I really felt disappointed.
Every studio has been guilty of doing that the last probably 10 to 15 years, maybe longer, at least, that I'm well aware of.
So I have a feeling once that trailer hit, I'm going to have to hide some stuff. Like I said, I don't think I want to do it. I don't think I want to do this.
if anything's new, I guess, in it, please show me, if anything, I guess, more of the stuff they've kind of showed already in the trailer, more of Phoebe maybe, and kind of more of the car. Because like I said, the car to me is the star of the trailer, man. Every time I watch the car roll through the field out of the barn, it still gives me chills a million times watching that trailer.
And it looks rough.
And that's what's so great.
It's amazing. It's just like they just pulled it out of the barn and just started driving it.
Right.
Exactly what you would expect kids to do.
Exactly.
Would be like to get in the car and just start driving it around.
In a wheat field.
Yes.
Donuts in the field.
That's a curiosity. I've got to curious, how did Ecto make it from the metropolis of New York all the way to Somerville, Oklahoma?
That was not a cheap trip. Okay, that was that thing probably has really bad gas mileage.
Well, and
it's the only ride Egon had.
Yeah.
To the last week, I've seen that Jason Reitman has posted that Ernie has seen the movie.
Yep.
And we know that Bill has seen the movie, and Bill is excited about this movie.
You know who won't be able to see the movie before release, and that's Dan Aykroyd, because he can't keep his mouth shut.
No.
He spoils everything.
Wait,
Uncle Danny.
You guys are saying he's excited about it?
Bill?
Yeah. Bill had an interview a couple of weeks ago. An audio interview.
Guys, this movie's going to be amazing.
Yeah, Bill's on board
about
with it. Yeah. Bill had good things to say about it.
Wow.
And that's like you were talking about. Like, I think that's also kind of one of the other mixed blessings of it being postponed for COVID. They've had plenty of time to go back and be like, oh, I wish I edited that different.
Right.
Or they've had enough time to do, I guess, testing, and kind of maybe, I don't know if they've done any reshoots because of COVID. I don't think they have. But overall, like I said, it should be a fine, polished movie by the time it's released.
What an absolute blessing this has been for Jason Reitman. Your movie has not been able to be released. We've been waiting a year and a half for it by the time it hits. And he's been able to sit down and tweak it, like you said. Been able to sit down and just, with a fine-tooth comb, have all this extra time, because Sony doesn't have a streaming platform like all these other studios. Not a good, big, well-known one. I mean, Crackle, but...
Oh, no, I'm saying, they have a deal coming up where they're going to be doing stuff with Netflix, like I think starting 2022.
Well, good.
Dude, could you imagine Ghostbusters on Netflix?
Well, it will be eventually at some point, but yeah, Sony's got a deal with Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
No, I didn't know about the Netflix deal. I didn't know about that one, but I'm thankful that they are not putting it on a streaming service.
No, I'm glad
this movie is
that
going
too,
to need to be seen in IMAX.
Absolutely.
Yes. I have a geek question for you guys. And for those of you that have been following this, you know that I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I've been doing Ghostbusters stuff with these guys forever, but I'm not like a massive Ghostbusters fan like these guys are. And I wanted to ask a question. So in the trailer, Ecto looks like more like what Ecto did in Ghostbusters 1, the original Ghostbusters. What happened to it between 2 and Afterlife? Why did it, like all the LEDs and all that crazy stuff they put on it in Ghostbusters 2, go away?
Well, hopefully we'll find that out in the movie.
Yeah,
like they just said, we don't need this anymore, and I don't want to carry this across the country.
It's like the ladder is on the opposite side, because they, as we know from the trailer, Egon installed a suicide door.
Yep.
That Phoebe is sitting on, and the seat shoots out of the door, and there's a proton pack mounted onto the back of that seat. So he had to move the ladder over. Egon tinkering with the stuff, I imagine. Maybe
if we're lucky, there'll be some kind of flashback montage where they're kind of, maybe you'll see something, or maybe you'll see it in action, kind of, you know what I mean? Like it could be a faraway shot, or some old footage outside of what you've seen in the trailer.
I'm just blown away. You guys don't already know this.
Well, I mean, honest to God, really I am surprised that they have kept everything so locked down with it.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you guys don't know it just tells me everything I need to know. This movie is going to be amazing, because we're all going to walk into the theater not knowing much of anything other than maybe having seen the second trailer that Jessica doesn't want to see. And then we're going to go in and watch it and hopefully be just as amazed by this movie as we were when we saw the Ghostbusters for the first time.
Well, and you refer back to, you're talking about Ghostbusters 2 and Ecto and Ghostbusters 2, but are they going to recognize Ghostbusters 2?
I think 2 is recognized, but I think it's going to be like it's a more building off events of 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of imagery based on from Ghostbusters 1, which I like Ghostbusters 2. I don't love it as much as the original, but I love it right there with it. It might be, GB1 here and GB2 a little bit below it, but I mean, it's still.
Right.
Wasn't the gun seat thing that pops out, wasn't that like in the game? Did they put that in the game or something?
I don't think it was in the game. I know that they had a gunner seat that sat on top of the Ecto-1 from the cartoon, the toy Ecto-1, which is being re-released, by the way. I've got 2 on pre-order because you got to.
One for me, one for my son.
2 for me because I'm a kid too. But there's a gunner seat on the toy that the real Ghostbusters Ecto-1 that sits on top. So I think that's kind of a nod to that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Jason went through a ton of footage, and if you look in the trailer and you see a lot of the footage that throws back to the 84 movie, all that is unseen footage. That has never seen the light of day. He went back and found different camera angles of different events that happened, shot during the movie. So you're going to get kind of a fresh perspective on the 84 movie.
Yep.
I was like, quick question. How long do you think the movie's going to run? I'm going to say an hour and a half at least.
Yeah. I think an hour and a half.
Yeah. Hour and a half, 2 hours would be 2 hours tops.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like 2 hours would be a bit too long for it. I think probably right at an hour and a half.
Well, for me, 2 hours wouldn't be too bad, but that's just me though.
Well, I mean, according to modern film standards, like how long was Ghostbusters 1 and 2?
1 is about an hour and a half. 2 is maybe about the same time frame.
Yeah.
They're in between that 1.5 and they don't go 2 hours. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that they feel like really good digestible movies. That's one of the things. It's like if I just want to sit down and just watch a movie that I love and I don't feel like I need to get like super invested in a whole long time period. It's like there's that magic between 90 minutes and 2 hours. That's just like it just to me it feels so different.
Well, I always refer to Ghostbusters as my lullaby because there was just a lot of nights that I would just be going to bed and I just have something to turn on the TV to fall asleep to, and usually it was just let it roll.
Oh, nice.
So I say it's my lullaby for years.
We're super interested in knowing what you guys out there in our social media platforms think about the trailer, because so hit us up whenever we post this episode.
Yeah,
we really want to know.
Yeah.
Hey, we'd love to hear your feedback. We love to hear you.
And we do interact.
Yes, we do.
Because we love it.
Or at the very least, Brock does.
He's usually the first one to catch it.
Well, that's because I'm sitting on the computer all day anyway, doing social media for work. So it just pops up.
Speaking of Gozer, the Gozerian, potentially as Macho Man Randy Savage.
I like that segue, my friend.
It's a good little segue into our athletic theater.
We're going to throw down fisticuffs now.
I will catch you in a headlock.
This is going to be the almost exclusive area for Bo and Jessica here.
Yeah.
With their fisticuffs. They're going to speak about the Macho Man and his cohorts.
Well, unfortunately, we can't speak of Macho Man currently. He's unfortunately no longer with us. But
he's in the wrestling ring in the sky now.
That's right.
He snapped Slim Jims with the Angels now.
And he got a really big push whenever he was made into a mod for the PC game Skyrim.
Oh, that's so
Skyrim. Yes. And he would just pop up as the dragon and go, yeah!
Well, I'm going to say, I guess we'll briefly touch just because we just came off of WrestleMania.
Yep.
The first WrestleMania, to see them back in front of a live audience, which is just...
Their first audience in over a year.
Yes. And Brock and I are not as well versed in the most current day events of wrestling. We're kind of learning more about this now that we have the Peacock subscription that's tying into the WWE network. So
yeah. Sorry about that noise. My cup dropped onto the coaster. Yeah. During WrestleMania this year, I'm texting Bo. I'm like, hey, what does this mean? Why are there so many titles? Why are there 24 titles now in the WWE? And who's this guy? So yeah.
I'm not as hardcore with WWE as I was, but I'm aware of the product, but I'm not 100% invested in it as I was.
Right.
But I'm still, I'm aware, but I guess I'm not diehard. But I'm still, like I said, I'm somewhat, but like I said, with me, like I used to watch pretty religiously. Now between fatherhood and 8 million ways to watch many other things, it's hard to keep up with everything now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, WrestleMania, I guess for the second year in a row, was 2 different nights. Are we going to go back to a one-night format at any point?
Probably not until they do a match. See, that's where you go back to, you're talking about why they have 27 titles. Over the last probably 5 to 10 years, WWE has been signing up anyone and everyone that wants to come, which, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're
I've noticed.
a professional wrestler and that's your goal to work, like WWE is like, whether your personal opinion is like, they are the top dog. That is, where you're going to want to go. Say, hey, I worked for the same company that gave Hogan, Savage, and Warrior and all those great legends a paycheck. So, I mean, I understand that. Don't get me wrong. And I mean, it's a great exposure. Whether some of their creative ways have gone over the years is very interesting. But, that could be a whole other podcast itself.
Absolutely.
But yeah, now they have 2 major titles now, which is because they have the roster split up where they have so many guys that wrestle on the Monday Night Show Raw and then on the Friday Night Show SmackDown. And then they have what they call their developmental league, the NXT.
Yeah.
And then they've really pushed for a women's division. They have 2 women's major titles and women's tag team titles.
Right.
So I get it. They want to make sure everyone has a reward for working hard. But then again, you're like, man, there's
it just seems like there's a lot of oversaturation right now.
Yeah.
With the WWE.
Yeah. They've took so much what made it special, which I'm glad with. I mean, more is sometimes good, but sometimes less is more.
Right. It's funny because we watched some of the Royal Rumble, mostly just because of a contest that was going on amongst friends and to who had what number of what wrestlers that was coming out. So we were trying to give like, oh yeah, so and so had this number, so here comes their wrestler. We were kind of keeping up with that way. And when Edge and Christian came out, it's almost like I felt like home. I was like, I know these guys, I know them. So you kind of start pulling for them. And there's a lot of times that Brock and I, will find ourselves watching the old Attitude Era, Raw is War. And that was, to me, it doesn't get any better than that moment in the WWE. The Attitude Era is my hands down all-time favorite. Will never be better than what it was then.
Yeah, the mid-'80s until, I'd say late 80s until early 90s. And then right there at the tail end of the 90s when the Attitude Era kicked up until it fizzled in the early 2000s. That's been my wheelhouse as far as WWE.
I have that love for the 80s wrestling growing up as a kid, the Saturday night main events and the primetime wrestling where you had Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, and that was the WWE of my childhood. And the Attitude Era came into the late teens, early 20s when that point in my life that was so much fun, and that just everything about that Attitude Era it like Brock's my wheelhouse. It pulls me in.
What would be like one of my great analogies with wrestling, a lot of people are like, until live action comic movies came a regular thing, to me professional wrestlers are probably the closest thing you could get to a live action comic book character. I mean, you had your unstoppable hero, this always cheating, very win at any cost villains. And like like you're talking about the eras, like for me, you have the golden, like in comics, you have the golden, silver, and bronze age. Well, kind of like from that pre-'80s up to about maybe early mid-'90s, that's the golden era. And then the silver era is the Attitude Era with all that. And then the bronze era from there at the end of it. Right. So that's kind of like my analogy doing comic book wise.
That's a good analogy though. I totally see that myself.
Like I said, I love the Attitude Era. I will always be a WCW fanboy because a lot of the guys I absolutely adore were WCW mainstays like Flair, Sting. Even the Savage started in the WWF, but to me, like he finished his career out in WCW because he never wrestled again for World Wrestling Federation / Entertainment. I don't know. It just like I liked both of them, but like to me, my heart will always be with WCW, but I still appreciate the WWF. I had so much fun. I watched it. I mean, it was a testosterone fueled soap opera and loved every second of it.
My biggest, fondest memories of that time is all the people that I had the joy of meeting outside those arenas and the interaction. that took place with these wrestlers. Here he goes. I see we're watching each other, on Zoom. I can see Brock shaking his head right now.
Your interactions.
Yeah.
One in particular that Ryan Dole keeps bringing up, our friend from
I can hear him screaming as he listens to this.
Ryan Dole, this is your moment right here.
Yes.
Take it in,
Ryan.
buddy.
Enjoy it, Ryan. He enjoys it every time this subject comes up.
So me, a photo kissing Shawn Michaels outside of a Raw has turned into Ryan Dole dreaming up the relationship that I had with Shawn Michaels, which
he has what is it, fan fiction. There you go.
He's tried.
Oh my god. That you are correct. This has become a fanfic for Ryan. Yes. It was only a kiss. That was it. That's all there was. But that interaction with Shawn Michaels, hands down though, the best person that I ever had any interaction with was always Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was so good with the fans. I can't say enough good things about those interactions that I was fortunate to have with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Brock and I were watching the 2006 Royal Rumble a couple of nights ago, and The Godfather was one of the participants in the Rumble.
2002.
Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry.
Because that's the one I went to in Atlanta.
Get it right, Jessica.
Wrestling professional fan. Come on.
Sorry. Do we want to just cut that or edit it and make
no,
it sound
no.
Oh, no, we're leaving.
Your mistakes need to be heard.
My head hurts. Okay, so really, I have photo albums of all my meetings, and some of the things got autographed, and I have a photo album that is missing somewhere that's got a lot of autographs inside the book. And I'm very sad because I don't know what happened to it, but
I didn't hide it.
There is an autograph in one of those from The Godfather. So I told Brock, I said, "I'm going to tell you a funny story about my interaction with The Godfather. This was in Birmingham. He was coming around and signing stuff, and I had that, and he looked at me. He says, 'Hey, you working with me tonight?' I was like, should I be flattered? Oh, but what are you trying to say here? But I did say, well, hey, if you need me, just let me know. I'll go get a dress. I'll be back soon." So it was just the interaction that a lot of these guys had with the fans outside was just some of the best moments of my life at that time period.
Yeah, I've shook a few hands and I'll talk like that. My greatest wrestling interaction was actually by mistake at Dragon Con, and I did not know it. For one of the guys currently wrestling, Xavier Woods, who's part of the tag team, The New Day. He's a regular attendee at Dragon Con.
Yes.
Like he goes every year.
Right.
Well, like I said, this was probably 7 or 8 years ago. I was waiting in an elevator to go in the Marriott. One of our friends was staying there. Of course, I'm in my Ghostbuster gear. Big muscular guy, but he was like a muscular Mr. Freeze.
Oh, okay.
And we were talking, I was like, "Oh man, I like your outfit." He was talking to the Ghostbusters and stuff, and talked to him. I was cool. He was asking me a proton pack. Talked to him the whole time. Did not realize it was him because he had like goggles on and like he was very Mr. Freezed up.
Oh.
Did not know it was him until I went to the wrestling event and he was there in his costume, and I was like, "Holy crap!" I had a 15-minute conversation with Xavier Woods and did not realize it.
Yeah, Xavier's big on Dragon Con. He even has some of his ring gear that's modeled after the old Marriott carpet.
Yep. The cult of the carpet.
It's awesome.
Yep.
When Stone Cold, a couple of the interactions I've had with him, the first time that he came to Birmingham, we were waiting outside, watching them all pull in. And at that time, some arenas you would go to and the parking lots were in the back and you could kind of hang out. And some, like where the Civic Center and how it was set up at that time, a lot of them would just go ahead and just drive straight in to the arena. There's a entrance garage there in the front. So we see Stone Cold pull up. So I whip out a 6-pack of beer because I'm going to get his attention somehow. He rolls up. I'm holding it out. He rolls down the window and says, "Hang on, I'll be right back for that." And he pulled into the Civic Center. And there was a pretty good little size crowd that had built up outside at the time. And sure enough, he pulled on in. Maybe about a minute or two later, he walks back out. And all the crowd just comes right down to him. He's signing all the autographs. He'd finish. He'd look. He would say, hey, did I miss anybody? Anybody else? He was making sure that he did not miss a person while he was out there. We had our picture made. A couple of weeks after that, we went to Chattanooga for a Raw. I had that photograph of me and him that was outside. Asked him to sign it. He was like, yeah, just come on down. So he told the security guard, he said, go ahead and let her through. He signed my picture. And then another time he'd come to Birmingham, I was showing the security guard outside the photos of us, and he wired in. He was like, let me know when Stone Cold shows up. And sure enough, he drove in. The security guard walked to the back. About a minute later, they opened up the back door of the Civic Center there, and the security guard gave me the little wave sign to come in. So I actually went backstage into the garage area where he had pulled the car in. And he turns around. He said, there's my girl right there. So we had another picture made. He signed a couple of stuff for me. But yeah, hands down, he's absolutely one of the best interactions I've ever had.
That's awesome. And now he's doing laundry detergent with iced tea.
Yes.
Well, odds are it would have been John Cena, but no one can ever see him.
Exactly.
Sorry, I've been waiting to do that one.
That's Kevin's input to the whole wrestling thing, right?
Everyone knows the John Cena meme.
We're going to have plenty of wrestling stories, especially from these two.
Yeah.
Over the course of the Bama Geeks podcast life. But we wanted to give you guys a little taste of that. And of course, we're about to talk about the Falcon and Winter Soldier. So spoiler alert. That noise going on, there it is. Spoiler. There you go.
Turn around now.
Except for Bo. Bo's getting spoiled whether he likes to or not.
Maybe I'm into that.
Ooh. So we've got 2 weeks, worth of episodes to catch up on. Wow. Let's just start at episode number 4. That was 2 weeks ago as of now.
That remind me, because it all runs together because it's so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Was episode 4 the one where we had the dancing scene where Marvel released the 10 hours worth of what's his name?
Zemo.
Zemo, like dancing constantly over and over again. Was that episode 4?
I think that came out of the 3rd episode.
That was in 3.
Was it 3rd? Okay. Yeah. It's all running together. It's just so amazing.
The 4th one is where we got to see John Walker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He did a no.
U.S. agent is born.
Is this from the meme where I've seen where one of our good friends, Chase Ambrose, referred to him as Decapitation America?
You got it.
Yes.
Yeah. He goes to the dark side, Luke.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen a few memes of that and him touching one of the guards of Wakanda. Kind of.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
That didn't go well.
Yes. They came in and totally just...
Yeah. The guards of Wakanda took care of business.
I know they have a name, and I feel terrible for not remembering. It's something with an M. I can't pronounce it, or
We're such great Marvel fans.
We're just casual people just watching this and just regurgitating what we remember. Like I just referenced something apparently from episode 3 because it's just so amazing. It just all runs together. It's like a movie.
It's hard for me right now to think back to episode 4 because I'll be honest, we've been a little busy. We did absolutely zero prep work. Jess and I did not do anything for this episode. And so normally my kids every other week, I have my kids every other week. And so normally we catch them up. So we would have rewatched episode 4 this past Friday night if we would have had my kids, but something came up and we didn't have the kids this weekend. So I didn't get that refresher. So I remember, when you get into your mid 40s, your brain just stops remembering so many things. And
wait, that's supposed to happen in your mid 40s?
Yeah.
Well, it did in mine. So
me too.
Yeah, but your memory is really good, though. You can remember a lot more than I can about things. But my short-term memory is the pits. And so I'm having trouble remembering a lot of things that happened in episode 4. That's where I'm going to need you guys to, what you can remember to come in on this. But, the guards came in and John Walker, this is where Lamar, his teammate, Battlestar, Lamar was killed during this. They were having a funeral for Carly's mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mama Danya.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mama
Danya. Yeah. Yeah, they were having a funeral, and Sam was going in to talk to Carly after the funeral and try to, hey, I know what you're feeling. I know what you're going through because I had this, and was trying to relate to her on a much more personal level. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, John, being John, just destroyed that whole situation.
Brock, you're getting it mixed up. That was the first time that was the first time they met. The first time they met, and then John walked in. The second time was when they arranged and arranged another meetup, and then all of them showed up together.
Yeah. You're right.
Mm-hmm. And then so it was a very similar situation with a very similar backdrop. So it's very easy to get it confused. But yeah, it was, and basically she threw him into a column and killed him.
Yeah,
and then we had that whole scene that was before that where it was like, hey, if you had the chance to take the serum, would you do it? Mm-hmm. And then he finds that one little vial of serum and like tucks it away, and we're like, God, here we go. We know what's going to happen. And then, of course, he takes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, of course, you never see him take it, but then all of a sudden he just starts whooping the mess out of everybody.
Right.
It's like, he took it.
And, of course, it's changing him as expected. You think back on the first Captain America movie prior to Steve receiving the serum, and the whole conversation prior to him is you can be focus more on being a good person than being a good soldier.
And then just the whole thought of a lot of this originated from Isaiah Bradley. They kind of talk a little bit more about, actually a lot more about it in episode 5. But the fact that, they were testing this on the soldiers and just telling them that it was tetanus shots, and then they were dropping left and right. And then, of course, they explain how he actually went to prison. They kind of dropped he says, I was in prison for 30 years and this was my thanks to my country. And, he was in prison because he actually went back to help his comrades to break them out. And then, of course, they didn't survive because they got different versions of the serum. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it came from this, but, when Red Skull took the serum, it turned him into what you know him as today. So apparently, Red Skull was just evil. It was evil.
Yeah.
And we've got who's going to become U.S. agent. He's torn. He's obviously nowhere near as pure as Steve Rogers was. That guy was he was amazing, and he so far has been the only person that's been able to take the serum and actually still stay a good guy.
Right. Because he's had a good heart.
Yeah. But except for, and I really hope that we get a lot more out of Isaiah Bradley, like a lot more of his character, or if they do some sort of breakaway on that, because, it would be really cool to see how that played out, like actually see it, not just talk about it, giving him the super serum, and then giving all his buddies the super serum as well. And then just seeing him break them out of jail, out of the camps, and then bringing them back. And that would have been super cool. Mm-hmm. Not just to hear, but to see.
Yeah, that could very well be another Marvel series down the pike.
It kind of felt like they were setting it up, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
because just that whole moment between Isaiah and Sam, just where obviously it's talking about the disadvantage, like the massive disadvantage of having a country that spits on them, but they're still fighting for them. And Isaiah is saying, do you think that this country actually cares for you now? Do you think anything has changed? Which kind of puts the show in a little bit of a different perspective.
Yeah. And all that happened in episode...
That was in 5.
Episode 5, yeah. Well,
yeah, that was toward the end of 5. And of course, we finally, at the end of episode 5, we really started getting the attention on Sam that we needed. Like the razor attention of like, okay, he's finally starting to embrace the fact that he needs to be the next Captain America. Like this guy needs to be him. And like, we're talking, they should have been playing music from Rocky when he was training.
Yeah, that was a really good scene.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was really wasn't it?
Great scene.
And of course, it all ties back into why is Sam training again? It's because at the end of episode 4, you've got John who, when Lamar died, he went after one of the
Flag Smashers.
Yeah, Flag Smashers. He went after one of the Flag Smashers.
Wasn't even the right guy.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And knocked him down and got him on the steps of a fountain or something it looked like, and then took the shield and just took his head off pretty much. And so he's standing there. You see the ending shot.
And everybody's recording.
The whole world is watching.
Yeah. Ooh, look at Cap. Look what Cap did. Cap bad.
And not only did he do this, he did this in another country
Yep.
So now it's a international incident from someone who is Captain America.
Quick question, since I am the guy who's not watching. Everyone knows this is not Steve Rogers as Captain America, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so in world, everybody knows Steve Rogers.
There are posters in every episode. There are posters hanging up on buildings, on different places, and it says John Walker, Captain America. Cap is back.
But it's there's a lot of weight behind the fact that like the American people and the government backed this guy,
right,
to be the new Captain America.
I got you.
And he's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
And the thing is, John Walker starts off as just like, Cap. And then you start seeing him getting more and more and more unraveled until he does that. And it gets even worse after when they have to chase him down and get the shield from him. And that fight.
That was I didn't know what was happening there.
Yeah.
Tore off Falcon's wings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, wow.
It's like the serum. It's going to enhance whatever is
It's going to enhance the inherent qualities of that person.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Intensify.
Right.
The thing is, from what I see, it enhances whatever is the most prominent emotion or the most prominent part of them. It's not necessarily a quality. It could be a negative, like in Red Skull's case. It's like the guy was a maniacal madman, not a madman. He was a maniacal genius, but at the same time, he was just evil, like just pure evil. And it made him look like he was pure evil. So in this case, it amplified John Walker's need for revenge.
Do you know what it makes me kind of revenge? This just popped into my head. I guess I was trying to figure out where I'm going with this, where they've used these kind of examples for when people obtain a certain power or a certain ability. But my mind just went to the Mask movie with Jim Carrey. The Mask.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect.
When you put the mask on, it brought out that dominant trait, I guess, within an individual. Whereas Jim Carrey was, the cartoonish type figure when he put the mask on, and then Dorian, when he'd put the mask on, he was evil. So it's, I don't know.
See, now I'm picturing somebody that takes the serum and they go, smoking.
Stanley Ipkiss, the new Captain America.
I guess that's what I was trying to go with in my conversation, is that you're learning about before, when you saw the Captain America movie, well, he took the serum, it made him a super soldier, and you saw the kind of character that Steve Rogers was. Now you see where the serum is being taken by other people and what it's doing to that person. Just because you take a super serum doesn't mean it's not going to turn you into what Steve Rogers is.
Yeah.
What kind of scares me about the serum, though, I really hope that they kind of begin and end this, at least mostly within the confines of this series, because if they don't, this kind of has the potential to become like Extremis. You remember Extremis from Iron Man, where it was just kind of like, and it just really wasn't that really well fleshed out. Obviously none of us know where they're going with this, but we have no idea where they're going to, go with this, if they're going to continue on with it. I just kind of hope that they kind of keep it within Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And not go too far crazy with it.
Yeah.
Because this could branch out and be like, oh man, look, now everybody's got the serum.
Right.
Yeah. And thankfully they did make it known that there was limited quantities that, back in episode 3 that was made.
Right.
And then in episode 4, John basically got the last bit of serum that the scientists that had been working in Metropore had been working on.
Right, because Zemo had stomped him. He was smacked.
He was breaking them. Yeah,
yeah. When Carly dropped him, and he had that opportunity, so he broke what he could. But of course, one always gets left behind, and we know where that's when he picked that up. It's like, well, you know where this is going. So
all it takes is one good convenient plot device, and we've got somebody else that's making it. So
yeah, and somebody will. I mean, who knows?
And also the unexpected cameo from this current episode is Julia Louise Dreyfus.
Oh yes,
that was quite a surprise. So I have to wonder, she said her name, she identified herself, but I told Brock, I said, so is she the power broker that we've been hearing about? Because that character has been, and he doesn't think so. I think she's if not, she's got to be tied into that in some way.
Her character has been linked to Nick Fury.
Yeah, but reading about, who is this character within the Marvel universe? So yes, she is the Nick Fury of, the not the heroic, the Shield or anything like that. But there's like a whatever this division is, she is the Nick Fury of that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be basically the one that, for lack of a better term, commands U.S. Agent.
Yeah.
Like whenever it's going to be whatever the group is going to be called. I don't know if they're going to change it for the MCU. And, I recognize there may be a lot of you out there that have read the comics and have figured this stuff out. I don't think any of us have. So we're just kind of shooting in the dark here as to what we think is going to happen. So you can listen and laugh and go, yeah, I know what's going on. But, we're kind of figuring out as we go along. And I think we're all kind of enjoying that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And Julie Louise Dreyfus, she shows up after John gets less than honorable discharge out of the army and gets told that he's absolutely done in his role as Captain America and done in the military. And so he and his...
No benefits.
Yeah, no benefits.
Dang.
And so he's sitting outside with, is that a girlfriend?
His wife.
Yeah,
his wife.
Yes. His girlfriend, yeah.
Or is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's his wife. I think you're right, Jessica.
Okay.
So he's sitting out there and all of a sudden she just shows up, hands him a blank card. One side.
The wife is asking questions and she just like hands her a card and you think it's got her name on it. And then she's like, it was just blank.
Yeah. One side is white, one side is black, and it's blank. Yeah. And then she talks about the gray legal area of owning the Shield, which, black and white, you turn that card pretty quick, turns gray. I'm just putting stuff out there.
If you continued to watch episode 5 after the credits, you see where there is a certain John Walker working on his own Shield.
Right.
Ooh. And so he's like, I had to give up the Shield. They took it from me, but I'm going to make my own Shield. And that's where we're going to get U.S. Agent.
Yeah.
So is this Shield going to have blackjacks and ladies of the evening?
I don't know.
Make my own Shield with blackjack.
Well, granted, Rock. I mean, you're former military. Apologies if I put you on the spot here, but
no, it's okay.
What was that? What was that he had? What was that medal
at the end of the after credit scene?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess we didn't see it.
Well,
I have no idea what he was because we were trying to go somewhere, and so we finished that episode. The credits started rolling, and all of a sudden we started getting ready to dash out the door. And so we're driving several hours that Friday, and Jess is in the passenger seat. She's like, "Oh, there was an after credit scene," and I'm like, "Well, you can watch it and tell me what's happening." So I actually did not see the after credit scene. Jess saw it.
This is Medal of Honor, I believe.
Is it?
Because he's decorated. You receive the Medal of Honor and the military decoration and the highest honors and awards. And so I was thinking it says Medal of Honor.
Yeah, could
and
be.
It kind of looks like he was. It looked like he was putting it on his shield or something.
Now, naturally, I was watching it on my phone while driving en route to where we were going. So from what I could tell, based on my limited small screen, trying to watch that. And then,
I need to go back and watch that.
And so now he's going to be Captain America with a chip on his shoulder. A big one.
A huge chip on his shoulder. And if any of you out there have seen any of the social media posts about him building his new shield, I suggest you go out there and try to find some of that, because it's been pretty. The reactions on social media to it has always, they never disappoint. So
I saw something. Someone was trying to discuss some kind of imagery where there's a giant painting in the background of one of the scenes. I forgot, some kind of battle or something about a leader, a failed leader or something. I don't know. It was one of those like fan theory things I saw. Like, so even though like I don't really go out looking for spoilers, I see stuff discussions. I'm like, I'll read it.
Yeah.
But there's apparently some kind of like a big battle painting. So I didn't know. On screen fall toys.
Bo's house is falling apart. What fell? Slimer? No.
Nope. That's
any RGB figures fell. Who fell?
Peter.
Well,
oh, down goes Peter.
That's Peter for you.
That's pretty good for almost like 3 months without one falling, or about a month or two. So
yeah, I meant to ask you, how are those command strips holding up back there?
Well, as you see, that's probably about
Did you? Whoa. 2 months. Bo, did you use the command strips or did you use those cheap ones from Walmart?
I used the command ones this time. I think it's
okay. Well, that surprises me.
I don't think it'll like the paint.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
But
anyway, sorry.
That's all right. So where is Captain America's shield? Well, it's right where it rightly belongs.
Absolutely.
With Sam.
It's where it started after, Steve gave it to him. It's back where it belongs again.
Yeah. We talked about that massive fight at the beginning of episode 5 where Bucky and Sam and John. I was searching for the word. So
you just can't say his name.
Captain Turd Burglar. Sorry. Yeah,
I like that.
Stupid.
But yeah, I mean that was for a second there. You thought Bucky and Sam were not going to walk away from that. John's pretty powerful after that serum, but they wind up getting the shield back, and Sam heads back to Louisiana and starts helping his sister redo and rebuild and gets the community together to try to rebuild their parents' boats they had used for fishing and all. And Bucky shows up and starts helping to work on this boat, trying to help his I don't know if they would call each other friends, but helping his partner out,
his co-worker.
And flirting with his sister.
Oh yeah, well he liked Sarah a lot.
Oh yeah.
And Sam told him, "Don't be flirting with my sister." But so they're working on this old fishing boat, trying to get it back together. And I saw a great meme, and it was just little shots of screen grabs from the episode of Sam and Bucky working on the boat, and instead of the this old house logo, it was this old boat. Two guys just happily working on an old boat together. It was great. But yeah, Bucky's back down in Louisiana and trying to help out. And earlier in the episode when Baron Zemo, he was in Sokovia. Once Bucky got there, he got handed over back to the Wakandans. And so the 3 guards were there, and they start taking Baron away. And Bucky's like, "Hey, I might need one more favor." And so when he shows up in Louisiana, all of a sudden he brings a box with him, and it's a box from Wakanda. And we're screaming like, the end of 7, like, "What's in the box?
What's in the box?"
Of course, it cuts off right when Sam opens the box. That's where the episode ends.
Of course.
So you don't know what's in there, but I want to know what's in that box.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will.
What do you guys
think's
in the box?
I was thinking, okay, if Sam's going to take over the mantle of Captain America, as he rightly should, I'm thinking maybe it's a suit similar to Black Panther's. Something in that box. He's like, okay, they've made me a Captain America suit that's similar to Black Panther's.
Me being, even though I haven't watched the series, I'm calling it vibranium wings for Falcon.
See, that's what I said.
Could be. Yeah, you're right.
I think that's the obvious one. But what if it's gifting the flower? What if it's just one of the flowers that would give him superpowers, but not serum? You know what I'm talking about?
Ooh, that would be neat.
Like he literally opens it and it's just the flower, and there's like, it's just like an instruction sheet on what to do.
I was really disappointed when he opened the box. You didn't see like the gold light, like Jules from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Are we good? Oh, we good.
Oh, we good.
Gosh.
Now I want to see Bucky and Sam as
yes. Yes.
They are the Vincent Vega
yeah.
of the MCU.
Yeah. But
oh man.
But by the time we can talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier again, the show's going to be over. There's only one more episode.
And maybe I'll watch it by then.
Doubt it, but
You've been able to live vicariously through us, so I hope we've kind of done a good job for you.
Yeah,
see, I am the person who's still listening despite the spoiler warnings.
The really cool thing though is that at the end of episode 5, like Brock mentioned, they've sewn it up. I mean, this is the best prep that you could have for a crazy finale episode that I've seen in a long time. So this last episode is probably going to be insane. I mean, we're definitely going to see John Walker again at some point, and there'll probably be at least a small battle between him and Sam, and we don't even know what's going to happen at this point.
Now, this makes me think, I wonder if they're going to do it. There's always the famous imagery where Captain America got shot from comics a few years ago, so I'm wondering if they may use that imagery with John or whoever is going to be kind of can be interesting.
And this is another hot topic for discussion in amongst the Falcon and Winter Soldier universe that I've caught on to, is that the conversation between and what a great scene with Sam and Bucky there towards the end there, with Sam training with the shield and the conversation that they're having. The conversation amongst the fans, is Steve dead? Do you think Steve is dead? Because they keep referring to Steve as being gone.
Yeah, Steve's not here.
Steve's not here. So has he died?
What if he shows up in 6?
Oof. He's not. But he's not coming. No, Chris Evans isn't coming back. He's already stated he's not coming back. So
and he had the best farewell. I mean, there's no need to bring him back. That would kind of tarnish that good sign off right into the sunset moment.
Right.
I did want to mention though, John Walker's already been shot, hasn't he? I don't know if that would count for them using that imagery. They didn't really dig into it that much, but he had gotten shot already.
Yeah, but
and when he was Captain America too.
Yeah.
So
that's another thing that's out there in the universe right now is the question of what is really going on with Steve. What happened? We know what happened at the end of the movie and where that led to, but has he, when they refer to him as being gone, does that mean he has died?
And I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it comes up every freaking week. Are we actually gonna see a lead in to mutants? Like, are they going to mention it? Are we going to see anything about it? Is it going to kind of get us thinking? Because there is some outlandish, crazy theory every single episode that basically gets debunked as soon as the episode airs. So I'm kind of wondering, with this being the final episode, if they just drop a bomb, like, by the way, there's mutants as well as serum now, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's going to give us a lot to. They're bound to drop something that's going to give us a lot to think about between now and the time that Loki premieres on June 11th.
Yes,
we got to wait that long. That's the next series, right?
That's the next one coming up is Loki.
We got to wait that long, man.
I'm so excited about Loki. I can't wait to.
And, are there any movies or anything coming out between now and then?
No.
Black Widow's slated for end of the summer.
Oh,
yeah. July.
June or July, yeah.
Stupid COVIDs.
Well, it's very interesting. Like, the cool thing about what they've done with the streaming series is one cool thing, like, the movies have always been what's going on, the main focal point. This kind of allows other stuff to be going on at the same time, finally.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bigger world, the world expanding.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, anything else we want to talk about with Falcon and Winter Soldier, or are we good?
I think we're good.
Nothing. We established the entire imagery of both episodes so that Bo doesn't have to go watch it now.
I'll watch it anyway.
Yeah, don't even waste your time, Bo. Horrible series.
Look, like I said, I enjoy the journey just as much as I do the destination.
Yeah, we're so glad you're like that, because otherwise we'd have to kick you off the podcast. We all have things that we watch at different times, and I can't remember half of the things anyway, so it's okay.
It's like one of those, it's not I don't want to watch it. It's just kind of like one of those things, I got to do it.
Just got to sit down and make it happen.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because, like, since there's so many episodes now that I'm like, well, crap, I'm going to be devoted. That's going to be at least a day devoted to watching that now.
Well, it's like I told you, you're fixing. Yeah, you're fixing to have a heck of a binge going on for you. So
take 6 hours and just sit down, because each episode is an hour long.
Yeah.
Well, that is going to do it for this episode of the Bama Geeks podcast. We really, really thank you so much for joining us. And we've had great feedback from people that we do know, people that we don't know. We've had a couple of emails, and we really appreciate it. And we hope that you guys see that we're having a good time together. The 4 of us always have a great time together. And so we enjoy bringing this to you, and hope that you'll join us for the next episode. And we will plan that out. Falcon and Winter Soldier finale. It'll be old news by then, but guarantee you we'll talk about it. And we'll touch on some other stuff. But any farewells you guys want to say?
Interact with us on social media. We love to hear from you. And as we've said, we will respond.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, thank you for listening. You had a choice in your rambling listening to, and you chose me and Brock, Justin, Kevin. I appreciate it.
And make sure you follow us on social media at Bama Geeks. Once again, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We love to interact, We love to post things and make you laugh.
That's right.
So thanks again so much for joining us. We'll catch you next episode.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.